Well, there she is. This car has been in here a long time. Well, at least the battery's not hooked up.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I'm not gonna try and
jump it.
No.
Or start it.
No. We gotta have to pull the plugs, do it properly. We'll go through it all, right? I don't know how. It's been sitting here for years, and nobody's tried to crank it. No one's touched it. So it's too bad somebody tried to paint the under hood part black at some point. God, she's in good shape though. We'll give you a good look of it when we get her out. I mean, it should run. It ran when parked. 383 big block, and I have checked. It's the original engine, original trans. Okay guys, we're gonna get this thing out of the shed here, and we'll be back with you. All right, so we're going to start the process of getting this old girl going, and we're going to follow the proper procedure after a car's been stuck in storage for a long time. Basic overview of that, so we're going to check all the fluids, probably change the oil, change the coolant, take all the spark plugs out, put a little bit of lubrication in each cylinder, and roll the motor over by hand. Sorry, roll the engine over by hand. Motors are electric. First thing we gotta do is get this Mopar battery out of here with its crazy looking super corroded terminals, and go from there. And I think after that the next step will be just your basic tune-up. And then once we get her running, we'll check the timing, and hopefully today she makes noise for the first time in years. We're working away on this 66 Charger, factory 383 4-barrel car. It's coming along nicely. A couple last things to do. We had the first start on it last night, and just got to button some things up here. and we'll be firing it up and hopefully running and driving it tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, how do you beat this? 66 Charger, big block V8, 383 cubic inch. For you Chevy guys, that'd be a difference than the Chevy 383, which you all know is a stroker small block. This is a big block Mopar engine. It's going to get some footage here. We're going to upgrade the coolant hoses with these stainless steel ones. Not only for the look, we're going for the late 90s, early 2000s performance look on this car, because that's what the owner would prefer. Not our car. We're going to upgrade a bunch of stuff here. This battery can't handle turning the engine over. A couple of cranks and it's done. We're going to go Optima yellow top. We've already had all the plugs out, oiled the cylinders, cranked over by hand, and we'll splice into the late night footage of us last night getting it to run. I know, sorry about the lighting here, guys. I don't know if you can even see me at all. It's been a long day. We're just getting to the point where now we're feeling comfortable with ready to try to give it a start. Uncle Bobo's just going to put some fuel in the float bowls and we're going to give it a first try and see what happens. Okay. Put that jump box thing on it. And then let's put a little, you got the coil wire hooked up?
Yeah. It's back on.
Okay. Hook up the jump box, and then after we hook the jump box up, just put a squirt of fuel right down the throat of her. Okay. Okay, now drop it into the carburetor itself. Not too much. A little bit more. A little bit more. Good. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Normal, it's been parked forever, and then all from us changing all the fluids and everything. And then now that we've heard it run, we're going to do the various other things. I'm going to change the oil again and do some other small upgrades, like the radiator hoses. We're going to go from these, you know, the generic universal hoses, and install the stainless steel hose kit. Big thanks to Glenn for that one. We've upgraded it to electronic ignition instead of the dual points. You Mopar guys will be able to see right there, that's the orange ignition box. It is still the ballast resistor type ignition. It needs a new voltage regulator, which we have and will be installed. Other than that, I mean, we're just going to do an overview once I get it all finished here. And we'll do a more in-depth review on the car, some of the interior options, and just the amazing features that the car came with factory. Give you a quick peek at the inside here. It's one of my personal favorite cars. I understand people like, you know, Junker Up Chris and stuff, they love the 68 to 70s, and so do I. But the 66 and 67 Chargers are just unloved and amazing cars. One of my favorites. It, you know, 4 bucket seats from the factory. The interior in this car is original. Pardon me. The steering wheel has been changed. According to the fender tag, it would have had a wood grain steering wheel from the factory. The steering wheel appears to be out of a satellite. I personally prefer this wheel. It's clean. It looks good. I'm thinking it probably got changed sometimes in the 70s. Something like that. Maybe the 80s. Factory floor mats. factory carpet. Car's never been restored, so it does show its age in spots, as you can see on camera here. There's the odd mark. It's all factory stainless. Yeah, you know, you got the small little dents and dings in the factory interior panels, and there's no rust to speak of in the car. She's got one bubble in the back right rear quarter. There's no big Bondo anywhere. We run a magnet over it. I'll do a video on that for you too, for you guys when you're looking to buy old muscle cars. But you have stuff like this, you know, chips. It's a driver quality car, but she's solid, clean, and the numbers on the engine and transmission match. So can't complain really. But I'm going to get to work on this, and we'll get back with you once we get the upper rad hose swapped out, and maybe we'll give it a run tonight too to double check for leaks. Back with you in a bit. Cheers. Give her a test fire here. Let's see how she's doing. This battery, unfortunately, does not have the juice to crank the car over on its own. Is that going to make a good enough connection? We'll find out. Okay. Okay. So, oh, I gotta grab the keys. I'll be right back. You gotta unplug and plug the thing back in. The jump box sat too long.
Favorite.
A little history on the car. It's a Survivor. I've been all over it, top to bottom. All the numbers match. It's an amazing car. From the story I got is it was bought new by a lady, and she had it for years, and then it got put in storage, and then the person that bought it sometime in the late 90s brought it out of storage and put the performance stuff on it. The date code on the carburetor is 2001, so somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, a whole bunch of stuff was done to it to bring it back to driver status. It then was driven for a few years, and then it's been sitting for the last few, and we've got it back up and going now. A couple of things we've done, as I've stated before, you know, when you pull a car out of storage, you don't want to just start cranking it. So we put a little bit of oil in each cylinder, rolled it over by hand. I removed the stock distributor and put in an old one I have, and then ran it with a drill to prime the engine. On an RB Chrysler big block, you can do that. It runs down into a keyway and runs the oil pump. Pretty sure that this one's got a high volume oil pump. It doesn't have a Pentastar or Mopar part number on it. And even when the car is idling, when it's warm, it still has 50 pounds of oil pressure, which is fine. That gets the job done great. We added some dress up stuff to it. A little bit was already there. Proper air filter. The other one was just too small, and I'm not a fan of K&N in the oil. We're just finishing up the brake master cylinder now. I got a cloth over it to protect the bore so dirt doesn't get in it. The Chrysler washer fluid bottle over there, that's not stock. Someone's added that. The factory one would have been like a Jiffy Jet soft container. Mopar guys will know what I'm talking about. We upgraded the car to electronic ignition from dual points. It came with all the parts to do it, so no problem. They were even already bolted to the firewall. It just wasn't hooked up, and the distributor was in the trunk. So she's working good now. Last thing we got to do on this side is route these spark plug wires a bit more out of the way, because it's got headers, so I can't run them in the factory spot. I used the old roadkill zip tie moment trick there, and like Freiberger and Dulcich would do, to, you know, route the wires properly. Somebody put Hedman headers on it, and they look to be quite good and in good shape, and they've got proper metal gaskets and everything, so I left them in place. Mopar Performance valve covers are still good. I'd like to be able to get the black out of the engine bay, but we're going to leave that up to the owner. This is not my car, so I'm going to let him mess with trying to get the black out of here, because I don't want to mess up the original paint underneath it. We did a tranny shaft seal. Chrysler guys will also know about that. The 727, when it sits, the seal dries out. We got that all done. We got here, this is just me checking the car to make sure it doesn't have any Bondo in it. Magnets. So if you put magnets in a plastic container and then with a nice soft cloth, and they'll stick anywhere on the car, you know you're good. It's a good tip to have if you're going to look at classic cars. Bring some magnets with you and check, because you'll get a car, it'll look like $1 million, but you'll find that the magnet doesn't stick anywhere around the wheels. This particular car, being that it's a survivor and it's never been in an accident, it sticks like $1 million bucks. Even on the bottom side of the quarter panel. Everywhere you put it. The car itself is just absolutely amazing, the condition it's in. Original interior, never been redone. There is one little tear in the back there. Owner's going to get an upholstery shop to deal with that. I'm not 100% sure that the steering wheel's correct. I think it's from a satellite. According to the codes on this car, it's supposed to have a wood grain wheel, but knowing Chrysler, that could be a wood grain simulated wheel, excuse me. It's a premium trim car, so it's got things like the clock, all the trim on the console, trim on the seats, the special trim on the doors, and all the trim and moldings around the wheel wells and quarters on the car. The first generation Charger, as many of you must know or might know, really it's a Coronet fastback, but they wanted to bring out a sporty version of it, and the Charger that everybody knows wasn't ready yet. So they went ahead with this. Personally, I think this is a cooler car. A lot of guys would argue with me. I mean, the 68 to 70 Charger is beautiful and amazing. So we did manage to find the stock, a whole lot of the stock parts for it. They were in the back garage / barn shed that we pulled it out of there. Went back for them. Factory 4-barrel Chrysler intake and the factory carb. Factory HP 383 4-barrel manifolds. Still has the heat riser, and it moves. Chrysler guys will be amazed at that. Factory rocker covers. The factory 7-blade fan, which came on the 4-barrel cars. 2-barrel cars had a 6-blade. Even the factory, well, I don't know if I'd call them factory, but the shocks that were in it originally are there. So it's really good that we found a whole bunch of these. The original water pumps in there, the original dual point distributor is in there, etc., etc. So now the mission is to get this car off to the new owner's home. And we're going to film the delivery of that and the drive out to do it. And hopefully you've been enjoying this so far. And if you want to see more of working on the car, let me know. I found that a lot of it just got time-lapse because it was getting boring watching me work on a car. We'll be back with you soon. Cheers. Alright guys, old Blake Dog's on board and we are on the road to deliver the Charger.
Recording.
navigation in the truck. It's got no idea where we are, and it keeps telling me I'm on an unpaved road. But if you look out in front, it's definitely a paved, divided superhighway. So, not sure what's going on there. And we're coming up on a site that's quite common in this neck of the woods in northern Alberta. And that would be...
Restricted access on route.
Well, we're restricted. Hang on. Okay. As we get closer, you'll get a good look at it. It would be... I'll tell you what it is when I get close, but it's what the guys up here would call a module move. So part of the either building, part of a piece of heavy equipment, could be part of what's called a coke tower, etc., etc.
Route recalculation.
Yeah, that's the top of a coke tower. That's exactly what that is.
Hauling.
Yeah,
Oh,
getting it
boys.
done. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We started out with a 66 Dodge Charger, and now we have a Boss hung jet broom. That's right, yeah! All right, I was kidding. We do have a Boss hung. I'm not actually sure, it should be Boss hung. And it is a plow truck. I'll be back with you in a bit to talk about the Charger and the eventful delivery. Just a quick Boss hung review. That's right, I said Boss hung. It's a Tiger plow truck, jet broom. Okay, all joking aside, this is actually quite an advanced piece of equipment used to clear snow and dry runways for commercial aircraft at a large international airport. It's a very advanced piece of equipment. So you can see right there, that's the FOD broom. FOD being foreign object debris. That's the jet dryer arm. And then obviously there's the giant plow. It is quite the mean machine. Four-wheel drive, of course. There's a drive shaft and a U-joint for you there, if you can see that there. Quick peek inside for you. See you soon. Welcome back, crew. Well, mission accomplished. We have successfully delivered a running, driving, fully operational 1966 Dodge Charger. With the help of Blake and Uncle Bobo, of course. So I've run through this before, but we have a 66 Dodge Charger 383 factory 4-barrel car. Now, you could have had this Charger with any engine basically you wanted from Chrysler in 1966, all the way down to the lowly 6-cylinder. Some even had 361s. Now, this car happens to have the 383 RB in it, not the B383. If you would, Uncle Bobo, could you please pop the hood for us? Oh, a Blake dog. Blake has given his approval. There we go. No major leaks. There's a small drip from the radiator, but there's an aluminum one on order the owner is getting. Now, we were just looking at making the car drivable, and really it's probably going to drive for maybe a week up north here, and then she's going to get put away for the winter. But next summer, it's going to get some real mileage put on it. Quick overview of what we did. Really just simple tune-up things. We got spark plug wires, new upper rad hose, new lower rad hose. I rewired a bunch of things, new battery, new electronic ignition box, new electronic distributor, new air filter, new oil filter, new oil. We went with single pop brakes because they work really good now with all the new parts, and Optima battery, etc., etc. I won't bore you with all the finer details, but for the missions we've done, this one really was wonderful and just not a problem at all. But I mean, that's what happens when a car's in really good shape when it gets put away. Anyways, this really concludes the Dodge Charger, but we still have to get home, and see you soon.